What kind of woman gives birth in another man's house? Cheek's voice echoed through the marble hall like thunder as he pointed at me, veins pulsing in his neck. I clutched my swollen belly, the contractions coming harder now, my body trembling from pain and disbelief. What would you do, I whispered, if the woman you love kicked you out while you were in labor? What would you do if you walked in on this? Hit like if you've been betrayed and comment below where you're watching from. Tears streamed down my face as I tried to steady myself on the doorframe. Please, Chike, don't do this, I begged, gasping. My water just broke. He laughed, cold, mocking. Good. Then maybe the baby will fall right here on the floor. I told you, Amara, you're no longer my wife. Behind him, the reason for all of this stood smirking. Slim, fair-skinned Nkechi in her silk robe, her arms folded. The same woman who used to greet me with, "Good morning, madam," when she was our housekeeper. Now she stood in my home, wearing my husband's robe. Cheek turned to her and said, "Baby, call security. I don't want this woman giving birth here. I can't have bad luck in my house today." Pain and betrayal mixed like fire in my chest. I staggered forward, one hand clutching my belly, the other reaching toward him. "After all we built together, Chike, after everything?" He snorted. "You built nothing. I made you who you are. Without me, you're nothing but a village girl with pretty eyes." The contraction hit like lightning. I screamed, clutching the staircase railing for balance. Nkechi covered her mouth, pretending to look concerned. "Oh, she's really in labor. Should we at least call a taxi?" "Let her crawl out if she must," Cheeky replied, his voice like ice. "She's not dying here." I wanted to curse him. I wanted to scream until the walls cracked. But instead, I took one long breath and said quietly, "God sees everything, Cheek. The tears you caused today, you'll drink them tomorrow." He rolled his eyes. "Save your church lines for your pastor." With trembling hands, I dragged my hospital bag from the floor and hobbled toward the door. The driver, Kunli, who had worked for us for 5 years, stood by the gate, watching helplessly. When our eyes met, he looked down in shame. "Madam, please let me drive you," he whispered, voice thick. "Olga said I shouldn't, but I can't watch you suffer." I nodded, too weak to speak. The world blurred as we sped through the Lagos night, neon lights flashing past. I screamed again, clutching the seat. "Hospital! Please, hurry!" Minutes later, I was wheeled into the maternity ward. Nurses rushed around me, voices merging in a blur of panic and comfort. I barely remember the doctor's face, only his words echoing through the haze. "The baby's coming now. Push, madam, push!" One last push, and I heard the cry. A boy, my son. But before I could even smile, the nurse frowned. "She's losing too much blood." The room spun. I heard the machines beep faster, then fade. Darkness swallowed me. When I woke up hours later, the nurse said softly, "Congratulations, madam. You have a healthy baby boy." I turned my head weakly. "And my husband?" The nurse hesitated. "He never came." My heart broke again, but beneath the pain, something inside me hardened, cold and sharp. As I held my son, I whispered, "He threw us away, but one day he'll regret it." The nurse smiled faintly, unaware of the fire now burning inside me, the one that would change everything. Because what Cheeky didn't know was that the lawyer handling my late father's estate had just called, and tomorrow I would inherit $20 million. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more gripping stories like this. What do you think happens next? Comment below. Delete that post, Chike. My voice shook as I stared at my phone. His caption burned like acid. "Adulterous wife tries to trap me with another man's baby. Pray for me." The photo was of me on a stretcher outside the emergency room. Our gate man must have filmed it. In minutes, the comments multiplied. Domestic betrayal, gossip pages, cruel strangers, a public disgrace served cold. My son hiccuped softly in his bassinet, wrapped in Ankara printed swaddles the maternity ward sold near the nurse's station. Lagos traffic hummed outside like a restless ocean. I inhaled, steadying myself. I would not break, not again. "Madam Amara?" A woman stepped in, wearing a fitted navy suit and low heels. She had calm eyes and a Lagos confidence that arrived before her name. "I'm Barrister Amina Danjuma, your late father's estate counsel." I sat up slowly. "Is it true? The call from last night?" She nodded, placing a folder on my bedside table. "Your father left you a trust that matured on your 30th birthday, $20 million. The funds are in diversified assets and liquid accounts. We can release an immediate advance today. But first, security protocols. We must move you and the baby to a private residence and change your numbers. The internet is a battlefield." Heat rose in my chest, not from shame now, but from something stronger. "Cheek posted a lie," I said. "He kicked me out in labor for his mistress. He wants to paint me as the cheating spouse." "We'll handle the narrative later," Amina replied. "First, legal filings, protective order, temporary custody, and one more thing." She slid a thin stack of papers forward. "Your husband's company borrowed against your Banana Island house without your knowledge. The microfinance bank just listed the non-performing loan. With your authorization, my office can purchase the note by noon." I blinked. "You mean I could own the debt on my own house? You could become your husband's creditor." She smiled without warmth. "A quiet form of revenge. Legal, clean, effective." My phone vibrated. A message from Kunle, the driver. "Madam, Oga is coming to the hospital with that woman. He said, we'll collect the baby for DNA." "I am sorry, Mom." "Let him come," I whispered. Amina's eyes sharpened. "We'll bring hospital security and a police liaison. He cannot take the child without a court order." I signed where she pointed, my hand steady now. The pen felt like a sword. The ward supervisor stepped in with a polite cough. "Madam, your husband refused to settle the bill and asked we send the invoice to your new man. We are very sorry." I opened the folder and pulled out a cashier's check Amina had prepared. "Please add a donation to the neonatal unit," I said, "from the Ijoma Foundation." The name felt right, the middle name my mother gave me. A small act against the humiliation of the cheating spouse rumor. Minutes later, the glass doors swung wide. Chike marched in like a storm in designer slippers, Nkechi stalking behind him in oversized sunglasses. He didn't look at the baby, only at me, like a judge about to drop his gavel. "Where's the child?" he barked. "We're doing a DNA test today." "Good morning, sir," Amina said, stepping forward. "I am Mrs. Ijoma's counsel. Here is a notice of temporary custody application and a letter requesting you cease online defamation. We advise you to speak through an attorney." He snatched the papers and laughed. "You brought a lawyer? With whose money?" "Mine," I answered, meeting his eyes. "And if you touch my son, the police officer outside will escort you out. Lagos isn't your playground." Nkechi clicked her tongue. "You think money solves everything, madam? You are alone." I looked at my child. "No, I'm a mother." Cheek took a step toward the bassinet. Hospital security moved faster. The officer raised a hand. "Sir, please respect the ward. There are babies." Color flooded Cheek's face. He turned to me, seething. "When we finish, you'll crawl back begging. Remember, I made you. Without me..." Amina's phone chimed. She read, then glanced up. "Correction," she said calmly. "As of now, we've secured the purchase agreement on your loan note. The bank has accepted our offer. Pending filing, the entity holding your mortgage is Ijoma Holdings Limited. As of lunchtime, you will owe my client." For the first time, Cheek's confidence thinned. "What rubbish are you saying?" "Legal rubbish," Amina replied. "We'll be in touch." Nkechi pulled at his sleeve. "Baby, let's go." He stared at me a heartbeat longer, something calculating in his eyes, then forced a smile for the nurses, as if this were a casual visit. "Keep the child warm," he said, and walked out, rage tucked behind his shoulders like a concealed knife. I exhaled, the room suddenly bright. Outside, a hawker's bell jingled. Faintly, someone hummed a Burna Boy tune by the hospital gate. Lagos kept moving. So would I. "Move us today," I told Amina, discreetly, "and prepare a statement for the blogs. No drama, no insults, just truth." "Already drafted," she said. "One more decision, though." She tapped the folder. "Do we serve notice on the Banana Island house today? Or do we wait until the weekend? There's word he's planning a welcome baby party with his fiancé. My laugh was short and sharp. He wants a party? I lifted my son, kissed his forehead, and felt the steel settle in my spine. Then we'll give Lagos a show they won't forget. The door opened. The police liaison stepped in. Madam, your driver says men are gathering at your gate. He thinks they're reporters or hired trouble. I tightened my hold on my baby and met Amina's calm eyes. Then it starts sooner than we planned. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more gripping stories like this. Comment your thoughts on the betrayal and what move should Amara make next. Chapter 3. Open this gate or we'll climb it, a voice snarled from outside. Camera flashes burst like lightning through the hospital glass. The men at the gate were a mix. Gossip bloggers, hired hecklers, and neighbors hungry for scandal. Domestic betrayal had become entertainment. I cradled my son closer. We leave now, I said. Amina moved like a general. Security team is ready. Kunli will switch cars at Falomo Bridge. Put on this cap. She slipped a plain black cap over my hair and draped a neutral shawl over my Ankara gown. No dramatic exit. We vanish. We rolled out with 2 hospital guards. Outside, Lagos roared. Okadas weaving, Danfos honking, street vendors calling, a faint whiz-kid track leaking from a kiosk. In the side mirror, I saw a blogger raise his phone. Our driver slipped into traffic like a fish into current. At Falomo, we slid into a different SUV. By the time we reached Ikoyi, the crowd chasing a story had lost the scent. The safe apartment overlooked the lagoon. Not flashy, but discreet. 2 weeks maximum, Amina said, checking the windows. By then, the custody hearing will be set, and our financial moves will tighten. She opened her laptop. First volley goes now. What volley? I asked, rocking my son. She turned the screen. A statement. Calm, factual, deadly. On the night of her labor, Mrs. Amara Ijoma was denied access to her marital home and sought emergency medical care. She and her newborn are stable. Any claims of infidelity in marriage are false and defamatory. Legal remedies are in motion. No gossip, no insults, just truth. Post, I said. Within minutes, bloggers pivoted. Screenshots flew. Is this the real story? Cheating spouse rumor collapsing? The narrative bent like palm fronds in heavy wind. Still, the public disgrace lingered, a stain not yet washed. Kunli called. Madam, Oga is planning party on Saturday. He told caterer to bring small chops and yalaf. He invited people, said new beginnings. Amina's eyebrow lifted. Perfect timing. She slid a stack of stamped documents onto the table. The mortgage assignment, notice of default, and a politely cold letter. We'll serve the Banana Island house during his party, she said. Bailiff, bank rep, videographer, legal revenge recorded and neat. My chest tightened. Not fear, not anymore, but memory. I could still feel the polished marble under my palms, the contraction slicing me in two while he told security to throw me out. Serve it, I said. Let him taste the floor he made me crawl. The day before the party, Amina took me to court. The judge's chamber was cool, the air faintly cinnamon from someone's tea. Amina spoke with the deliberate calm of a person who never wasted bullets. Your lordship, we seek a temporary restraining order against interference with the child, plus a gag order against online defamation, and supervised visitation for the father. The judge, a woman with tired kindness in her eyes, flipped through the affidavits. Photos from the gate, the stretcher, the posts. Where is the father's counsel? Unrepresented, my lord, the clerk said. Bring him to the table when he arrives, the judge said, signing. For now, this order stands. Supervised visitation only. No removal of the child from the mother. The internet is not your village square. Outside, we exhaled at once. One wall up, Amina said. That evening, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. I almost let it ring out, then answered. Amara, Cheek's voice purred, too smooth. Look at you. Lawyer, press statements. You think Lagos likes saint stories? They prefer pepper. I will give them pepper. Supervised visitation only, I said calmly. Court order. He laughed. You think a paper can stop me from seeing my son? Saturday, you will watch me rise. Lagos will know who the real winner is. Saturday, I repeated. You'll meet your new landlord. Silence, then a hiss. You wouldn't. Already did. He hung up. A moment later, my screen filled with messages, mutual friends, church aunties, even a former colleague. Is it true about the party? Are you okay? God will fight for you. I wrote back to only one. My mother, who had traveled to Enugu for a funeral and didn't know the storm. We are safe. Don't worry. Kiss the baby's picture. She replied with a prayer and a heart emoji, old world faith meeting, new world buttons. Saturday came dressed in gale and gossip. From a distance, we watched cars glide into Banana Island, women in shimmering aso ebi, men in white caftans, champagne buckets, live band warming up with high life classics. A banner arched over the gate. New beginnings. The kind of party that turns a cheating spouse into a headline sponsor. The bailiff adjusted his tie. The bank rep checked her folder. Amina nodded to the videographer. We are here to serve, she said. We walked through the open gate on a wave of talking drums and smoke from suya grills. Guests were mid-laughter, balancing plates of puff-puff and samosas. Nkechi, glittering in gold, held court near the flower wall. Cheek wore a white agbada with embroidery that caught the light like arrogance. Sir, the bailiff said evenly, are you Mr. Cheek Otobo? Cheek's smile froze. Who are you? Service of legal notice, the bailiff replied, announcing each title in clear Yoruba and English. Assignment of mortgage. Notice of default. 30 days to cure. Further action to follow, including repossession. Phones rose, instinctive as birds. The drummer faltered, then stopped. The band's chords went sour. Guests whispered like wind racing through plantain leaves. Public disgrace. Served with canapes. Cheek's jaw ticked. Nonsense. I'll pay. The bank rep's tone was crisp. The creditor is Ijoma Holdings. Payment arrangements must be made with them. Eyes shifted to me. Nkechi's voice cut the silence. You invited your ex-wife to our celebration? A chorus of gasps. Our. The videographer's red light blinked like an unblinking eye. Amina leaned close to me. Stay steady, she whispered. Let the story tell itself. Cheek stepped toward me, smiling for the cameras with teeth that didn't reach his eyes. Congratulations, he said softly, menace beneath the sugar. Enjoy this show. After tonight, I'll take what matters. The baby. A police siren wailed at the gate. 2 officers entered with a clerk carrying a sealed envelope. Mr. Chaiko Tobo? The clerk asked, voice carrying. By order of the court, he unfolded the paper, and the crowd leaned in as one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more gripping stories like this. Share this with someone who loves African marriage drama. What do you think is in that envelope? Comment below. By order of the High Court, the clerk read, voice steady over the talking drums gone silent. Mr. Chaik Otobo is restrained from harassing, threatening, or removing the minor child from the mother. Visitation shall be supervised at a state-approved center. Further, both parties are prohibited from online commentary that fuels public disgrace. Murmurs rippled, phones lowered. Even the caterer froze, ladle hanging over jollof. Cheek's smile cracked. Nkechi clutched his sleeve, eyes darting. The bailiff handed him the mortgage notice. The bank rep added a polite bow that felt like a blade. I didn't gloat. Lagos was watching. I turned, lifted my chin, and walked out with Amina. Behind us, the banner that said, New Beginnings, flapped in the sudden wind. By dusk, we were back at the Ikoyi apartment. Quiet, blinds down, the lagoon a ribbon of pewter. My son burrowed against my chest, warm as a prayer. The noise of the party faded to the soft shuffle of slippers, the kettle's sigh, the low hum of a generator far away. Low tide in a stormy week. Amina pulled off her heels and perched at the table. 2 victories, she said. The restraining order and the mortgage assignment. Now we plan for co-parenting conflict without chaos. We pick the visitation center, insist on a schedule, document everything. I nodded, stroking my baby's back. The words supervised visitation tasted like both safety and sadness. He's still the father, I said quietly. I want my son to know truth, not bitterness. That's your strength, Amina replied. Keep it. We'll handle the legal revenge. My mother arrived just before midnight. Gail loosened, eyes full of worry and blessing. She took the baby from me with the fierce tenderness only mothers know. I named you Chukwunonso when I saw your picture, she whispered to him. God is near. She looked at me. Tomorrow we'll take palm oil to the church, say small Thanksgiving. No crowd, just us. Morning washed the city gold. We kept it simple. A white onesie, soft drum beats from a neighbor's radio, a short prayer streamed to my aunties on WhatsApp. Across the street, a woman in a wrapper balanced a tray of plantains. The seller joked with a banker in navy suit. Life moved. I breathed deeper. Then the consequence of a public lie found a new lane. My phone vibrated. An unknown number sent a link. Watch Banana Island husband claims fraud, says wife staged her labor. The video showed a man's back in our old living room, voice disguised. The clip cut to my stretcher. Domestic betrayal, the caption screamed. The internet loved Pepper. Amina didn't flinch. We keep our line, calm, factual. We refuse emotional manipulation, she typed. We also file a takedown. Meanwhile, I've set your first supervised meeting request, Wednesday at noon at the Surelaire Family Center. Cheek replied to the official email within minutes. I will attend. Prepare DNA request forms. No insults, only calculation. A different kind of power play. In the afternoon, Kunli called. His voice was heavy. Madam, after the party, Oga went to a hotel on Victoria Island with some men. I heard the name of one police DPO. They were laughing. I left before they saw me. Thank you, I said. Stay safe. Not long after, another message flashed. Grainy footage from a hotel corridor, shot from a cracked door. Cheek counting bundles of cash with two men in plain clothes. A third voice. No worries. When we reach court, the paper will be waiting. My skin tightened. Amina? I turned the phone toward her. She watched the clip twice, face unreadable. If this is real, it's tampering. We move fast. She forwarded it to a trusted prosecutor with 3 words. For your eyes. Evening fell soft and blue. My mother hummed a hymn while chopping okra in our tiny kitchen. The baby's breath was a slow ocean. Peace hovered, fragile but real. At 8:17 p.m., 3 sharp knocks rattled the door. My mother froze. Amina stood smoothing her jacket. Who is it? Social welfare, a man's voice called. Routine child welfare check on report of neglect. Please open. Amina's eyes flicked to mine. Ask for ID, she mouthed. I moved to the door, baby against my shoulder. Please show your ID at the peephole. A laminated card lifted. Behind it, 2 uniformed officers and a woman with a clipboard. The woman spoke. We have an ex parte order authorizing immediate inspection and possible removal pending evaluation. From which court? Amina asked, voice cool. High Court, the woman said, sliding the paper under the door. Amina bent over it, scanning, then went very still. The judge's name is misspelled, she whispered. And this signature, it's wrong. Another knock, harder. Madam, open, or we will force entry. I held my son tighter, blood roaring in my ears, and looked at the deadbolt, then at Amina's set jaw. Somebody had just turned the quiet night into a trap. Break it, a man's voice barked. The handle jolted. My mother clutched my arm. My son startled, tiny fists opening like flowers. The paper they slid under the door still lay on the rug. Misspelled judge's name, crooked signature, a forged order wearing official clothes. Amina didn't blink. Record everything, she whispered, raising her phone. She called out, voice steady. This is an illegal entry. Under the child rights law and the court's restraining order, you cannot remove this child. Identify your commanding officer and state the registry number of your order. The woman with the clipboard tried authority. Madam, we don't argue. Open. Then wait for the lawful police, Amina said, already dialing. 112 emergency, fraudulent officers at Ikoyi waterfront apartments. Also patch in state family court clerk. She snapped her fingers. I handed her the forged paper and pressed the intercom for building security. Outside, a neighbor's door opened. Another phone rose to record, then another. The corridor filled with Lagos. Curious, loud, impossible to bully easily when lights are on. The man in uniform shifted, the borrowed swagger slumping under a dozen unblinking lenses. Amina spoke through the door, clipped and calm. You are on camera. Present your registry stamp now or withdraw. Silence stretched. Then the elevator dinged. Building security arrived. 2 guards in navy, badges visible. Gentlemen, your station? One guard asked. We'll confirm on radio. The taller officer adjusted his cap. No time for this, he muttered. The woman with the clipboard hesitated, eyes flicking to the neighbors, to the baby's quiet breathing she could hear through the door. A new sound cut the tension. Sirens. Real ones. So her 2 uniformed officers stepped out of the lift with a plainclothes woman who carried the weight of her badge like a promise. She flashed ID to the corridor. Deputy Superintendent Asakwo. Who reported? Amina opened the door a crack, showed the forged order, then the court restraining order with the judge's real signature. Asukwo's face hardened. She turned to the trio at our door. Unit, identify yourselves. The tall man ran. The woman with the clipboard stammered. I was told to deliver. By who? Asukwo's tone cut through air. A DPO. At Victoria Island, she whispered. Kunli's earlier warning flashed across my mind like a headline. Domestic betrayal had moved from heart to paperwork, and now to handcuffs. The real officers moved fast. The woman and 1 uniformed man were detained. Asukwo faced us, softer now. You did well not to open. We'll file forgery, attempted child abduction, and conspiracy. Please come tomorrow to give statements. Keep your doors double bolted. When the corridor emptied, silence fell heavy but clean. My mother exhaled shakily. God took shame and turned it back. I kissed my son's forehead. He won't stop, I whispered to Amina. No, she said, pulling on her jacket again. So we stay 2 steps ahead. Her phone chimed. She read, then smiled without joy. First, the prosecutor acknowledges your video. Second, the bank registered the mortgage assignment. Your company is on title as creditor. Third, the court clerk just emailed our judge wants to see the forged order by morning. We're tightening the net. Through the night, Lagos hummed. Faint horns, a generator's drone, snippets of Afro beats drifting from a distant balcony. I fed my baby and watched the city lights tremble on the lagoon. The heat moment had cooled, but the co-parenting conflict, the power plays, the emotional manipulation, none of it was done. Morning broke clear and pitiless. At the DPP's office, Asakwo logged our statements while a typist clicked like rain. Amina filed fresh motions. Contempt if Cheeky so much as hinted at custody grabs. A request for a forensic review of any DNA handled outside approved labs. We left with paper shields and calmer breathing. Wednesday arrived with a knot in my stomach. The Surelaire Family Center looked like order. Painted walls, a small playground fenced in, a reception desk beneath a framed poster. Children are not battlegrounds. I signed in. The coordinator, a woman with a geel folded into neat peaks, smiled gently. We'll keep it peaceful, Mom. Cheek walked in 5 minutes late, expensive cologne leading the way. He wore a navy caftan and that same TV smile he put on for lies. He didn't glance at me. His eyes went straight to the baby, then to the coordinator. I'm ready for my son. Visitation is supervised, the coordinator said evenly. 1 hour. No removal, no testing, no video. He handed her an envelope with a flourish. Court expansion of rights. My blood cooled. Amina took the paper, scanned it, and frowned. This is from a magistrate without family jurisdiction, she said, voice low. Where did you get this? Cheek's smile sharpened. Lagos has many doors, counselor. Some open faster when you know where to knock. The coordinator looked from the paper to our original order. Procedure warred with pressure in her eyes. She stepped away to make a call. I held my son tighter, breathing through a fear I refused to feed. You're playing with fire, Cheek, I said softly. He leaned close, words a blade wrapped in velvet. You think blogs and borrowed money make you strong? Watch me. This is a revenge story you can't narrate. The coordinator returned, face pale. She swallowed. I, I've been instructed to pause visitation pending clarification. A new directive just landed from headquarters. Amina's jaw clenched. From which judge? The coordinator lowered her eyes. It doesn't say. It's administrative. Around us, a toddler laughed on the other side of the glass. Somewhere outside, a hawker's bell chimed. I felt the room tilt, the careful order of law nudged by unseen hands. Amina's phone buzzed. She checked, blinked, then looked at me. Amara, your account's just pinged with a freeze notice. Someone filed an ex parte in a different division, alleging fraudulent inheritance. Cheek's smile widened, slow and poisonous, and the coordinator cleared her throat, voice trembling now. Ma, sir, I'm sorry. Until we sort this, the center is suspending all sessions. The door to the supervised room clicked shut by itself, as if sealing the hour we'd never get back. My ATM card screamed declined at the pharmacy checkout, while my son fussed in my arms. Formula, nappies, wipes, held hostage by a notice on a screen. The cashier's smile wilted into pity. A woman behind me whispered into her phone, "Is that the Banana Island wife from the blogs?" Domestic betrayal, and public disgrace comes quiet sometimes, like fluorescent lights in a beeping till. I paid in cash from the brown envelope Amina insisted I carry and walked into the bright Lagos noon. Danfoss jostled, a hawker balanced bottled water on her head, and a radio blared High Life from a kiosk. I stepped into shade and called Amina. The freeze hit the local banks, I said. Even the maternity charity check bounced back for review. Good, she answered, fierce and calm. Let every bad move leave footprints. I filed to set aside the ex parte this morning and to consolidate jurisdiction. Also, your father's offshore trustee confirmed the spousal exclusion clause. Even if local accounts freeze, your living allowance routes through a separate channel. Check your email. A ping arrived, authorization codes, and a digital card. I exhaled. What about the visitation suspension? This co-parenting conflict is turning into a weapon. I've lodged a complaint with the family court's chief registrar about that administrative directive. DSP Asuquo is cross-checking signatures. We strike quietly, not on blogs. Revenge story, but legal. She paused. There's more. We just acquired 2 more of Cheek's company notes. He's been rolling debt like Puff Puff dough. As of today, you're his largest secured creditor. I stared at Mylar balloons bobbing outside a party shop. He'll think I'm trying to ruin him. He tried to unmother you, she said. We're refusing emotional manipulation and choosing order. By afternoon, we were in court. Cool AC, dusty files, the low rumble of a fan. Our motion to lift the freeze landed before a no-nonsense judge whose glasses sat low like truth itself. Amina argued clean lines. Inheritance verified, probate complete, the ex parte obtained in the wrong division, and suspiciously fast. Opposing counsel, slick, loud, borrowed thunder, waved photocopies. Infidelity in marriage, your lordship. She's funding defamation and buying her husband's debts to destroy him. This is African marriage drama, not finance. The judge raised one eyebrow. Counsel, the court is not a theater. Produce your authority for a probate freeze issued by commercial division. He shuffled. I will file. You already did, the judge said, tapping the file. In the wrong place. A clerk slipped the judge a note. She read, then looked up slowly. DSP Asuquo has just transmitted a preliminary report. The administrative directive that suspended visitation? Fabricated by a clerk who has confessed to receiving cash from the office of a certain Victoria Island DPO. Her gaze swept the room. We will not allow children to be used as currency in power plays. The gavel's rap was soft but final. Ex parte freeze is hereby set aside. Funds are free. Visitation is reinstated. Supervised as previously ordered. Any further forgery will be met with contempt and remand. She signed with a flourish that felt like daylight. Outside the courtroom, my mother hugged me so tight the baby squeaked. For a brief hour, Lagos softened. Roasted corn smoke, a church choir practicing in a nearby hall, school children laughing as they tumbled into a kiki. Low tide at last. Kunli called, voice urgent. Madam, the DPO is at the VI hotel again. Asukwo is moving to catch them exchanging envelopes. Amina's phone buzzed at the same time. She read fast. Confirmed. Sting is on. Keep your location private. We kept it small that evening, stew bubbling on the stove, my mother humming under her breath. I bathed my son, breathed in his soap-warm curls, and thought about the line the judge had drawn in the sand. For once, the system had held. Near 9, Amina arrived, hair slightly damp from the rain that had begun to drum Lagos roofs. Her eyes were bright in a way that meant trouble found answers. Asukwo arrested the clerk and 2 intermediaries, she said. They seized marked bills and a burner phone. Text mentioned "oh" and a sum. Not proof of chike yet, but the rope is shortening. My chest loosened. When is the next supervised session? Friday, noon, Surulere Center. I already alerted them. No administrative surprises. Thunder rolled. Power blinked and the generator kicked in with a cough. I settled my son into his cot and checked the window. Rain stitched the lagoon into silver. My phone lit up with a live stream notification. Otobo and Kummer emergency press briefing. I tapped it. Cheek stood at a lectern, navy suit, pocket square, a well-practiced sorrow pressed into his mouth. Beside him, Nkechi's belly curved under a sequined dress, a hand resting where cameras could see. My friends, he began, voice smooth as palm oil. Today I filed a petition to protect my child from a mother whose revenge story has become dangerous. Tomorrow I will present DNA results and evidence of financial fraud. I have been silent, but the truth will speak. A live comment scrolled, DNA? How? Court said supervised only. Another, cheating spouse tactics. Amina's jaw set. He's baiting you. We stay off the blogs. The feed glitched, then steadied. Cheek leaned forward, lowering his voice theatrically. And to my former partner who thinks she can buy my life with debt, be careful. Debts can be called both ways. Lightning flashed. As if on cue, 3 headlights slid to a stop outside our gate, engines idling low. My mother glanced up from the couch. Who is that? Kunle's name flashed on my screen, breathless. Madam, 2 Prado SUVs and a Hilux just left the hotel. They're tracking your street. I think they're coming to serve something, or to create problem. Don't open the door. Footsteps splashed in the rain. A heavy fist hammered the gate, once, twice, authoritative, rehearsed. Open in the name of the law, a voice boomed. Amina moved to the peephole, shoulders squared, and drew a long breath. Stay back with the baby, she murmured. Whatever this is, it's either our victory arriving or his last dirty move. Chapter 7. Open in the name of the law. The fist crashed again, rain drumming like a talking drum behind it. Amina checked the peephole, then exhaled. It's DSP Asukwo, with her team. She unbolted. Real officers stepped in, damp and serious, the deputy superintendent shaking droplets from her beret. We move fast, Asukwo said, handing over a stamped document. Affidavits, arrest warrants, and protective detail. The Victoria Island DPO is in custody, the clerk confessed. The forged administrative directive is traced to cash paid through a shell company linked to Otobo & Co. She looked at me, kind but firm. Tomorrow's supervised visitation goes ahead. We'll be there. No more emotional manipulation. Morning peeled the rain from Lagos like film from glass. At the Surulere Family Center, the sign, "Children are not battlegrounds," seemed to breathe. I signed in, hugged my son close, felt my mother's hand squeeze my shoulder. Amina reviewed papers one last time. Calm is our weapon, she murmured. Chike arrived with a lawyer and a face arranged into public pain. He carried a slim folder the color of expensive trouble. I come as a father, he announced for the receptionist's benefit. Asukwo stepped from a side office. And we proceed by the book. No private labs. If DNA is requested, our approved team is present. Cheek's lawyer lifted a glossy report. Results from Premier Diagnostics? Not admissible, Asukwo said. Fresh collection now. The nurse swabbed my baby, swabbed Chike, sealed everything in evidence bags. Cameras watched, Signatures bloomed on chain of custody forms like careful flowers. Domestic betrayal had to answer to procedure. For 1 hour in the bright visitation room, plastic toys, alphabet mats, a wall fan that squeaked, Cheek held his son. He didn't look at me. He told the baby lies with a soft voice only the coordinator and cameras could hear. Daddy will fix everything. Power plays come covered in lullabies too. After, we waited in the reception, quiet, generator hum, a vendor outside calling Gala, pure water. 30 minutes later, the lab courier returned with expedited results authorized by court order. The coordinator opened them, eyes widening. Paternity probability, 99%, she read. Mr. Otobo is the father. A beat of silence. The lawyer's mouth opened, then closed. Cheek's jaw flexed. The folder in his hand bent. Amina's voice was gentle steel. So the cheating spouse smear ends here. Cheek smoothed his caftan as if straightening truth by hand. He leaned toward me, whispering, "You think this ends the story? You bought my debts. Debts can be called both ways." Before I could answer, the center door slid open, and 2 plainclothes officers entered with a registrar. Asakwo stepped aside for them. "Mr. Otobo, you're under arrest for conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, attempted child abduction through forged process, and interference with court-ordered visitation." Phones rose. Not bloggers this time, but the center's security cameras and the staff's quiet need to protect their space. The bracelets clicked. Public disgrace, not served with canapes but with forms and a calm voice reading rights. Outside, the sun flashed off puddles on Adeniran Ogunsanya Street. Hawkers shouted, buses sighed, a woman adjusted her jewel and crossed herself as the convoy rolled away. I stood on the steps with my son and felt the city thrum through my bones. Not triumph, something steadier. Order. By afternoon, Amina moved like rain on galvanized roofing. Swift, precise. "Receivership application filed," she said, sliding papers across the table in our Ikoyi apartment. "With you as majority secured creditor, the court can appoint a receiver over Otobo & Co. The Banana Island Mansion's default clock hits today at 5 p.m. The trigger's possession, no drama. Sheriff, locksmith, inventory." At 5:12 p.m., a red sticker bloomed on the gate of the house where I'd been thrown out in labor. Sealed by court order. A generator coughed and died. The live band that used to rehearse nearby switched to a slow high-life lament. Neighbors filmed from balconies. One auntie in a wrapper shook her head. "Infidelity in marriage. See how a day end." We kept our statement short. Facts only, no pepper. Blogs posted it anyway. The gossip cycle hiccuped, then turned toward a different story. The quiet power of legal revenge. The co-parenting conflict wrestled back into guidelines. The African marriage drama bending to order. SEO hashtags flew without me forcing them. Domestic betrayal, cheating spouse, emotional manipulation, public disgrace. Near sunset, as the lagoon blushed, a courier knocked with a manila envelope addressed to Ijoma Holdings. Amina slid it open. 2 documents slid out. The first, a board notice. Emergency meeting, motion to remove Chike Otobo as managing director, proposed interim chair, Chief Nnamdi Okoro. The second, a single-page lab report stamped by a private obstetrics clinic. Paternity exclusion, subject, Otobo, Chike, fetus, Nkechi. A. Not his child, my breath caught. Amina's brows rose. So the New Beginnings baby belongs to someone else, I finished. A mixture of shock and a strange, aching pity rolling through me. Cheating spins a harder web than even the spider imagines. My phone lit with a hidden number call. Against my better judgment, I answered. A low, careful voice slid through. "Madam Amara, congratulations on your tidy victories, but you're fighting the wrong man now." A pause, the rustle of starched fabric. "Chief Nnamdi Okoro doesn't plan to lose his company to a widow's daughter with a trust fund. He paid for those forgeries and for the clerk's silence. Your husband is a pawn. Meet me, tomorrow, 8 a.m., Echo Atlantic Promenade. Come alone, or the next papers filed will freeze not just your accounts, but your child's passport." The line clicked dead. Amina was already typing, eyes sharp. "We don't dance to threats," she said. "We bring lights and witnesses. We widen the case." I looked at my sleeping son, his chest rising like a small tide, and felt the old fear try to lift its head. I pressed it down with something brighter. "Tomorrow we don't meet him," I said. "Tomorrow we move the board." Amina nodded slowly. "Then let's make Chief Okoro discover what real consequences feel like." Outside, Lagos glittered, trailers on the bridge like a string of patient ants, gospel from a balcony, the kiki horns like squeaky trumpets. I kissed my son's forehead and squared my shoulders toward a new horizon. The first battle was won. The war had just introduced its general. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more gripping stories like this. Should Amara face Chief Okoro in public or crush him in court first? Comment your strategy below and share with someone who loves dramatic revenge stories with real consequences.